What is good, everybody? Let me see if we in here. I think we good, Connor. What's good, everybody? It's Big Game James. I got the mic in my hand like LL Cool J. I got the mic in my hand. I said I'm tired of sitting all close, looking all robotic and stuff. I'm bringing the mic in. But today, I said I'm gonna bring my dog in. You know, the draft is getting ready to come up. Senior Bowl is popping off right now, and the draft is going on. So I said I need to get Connor in here. Give me a good 30 minutes of talking, and we're gonna talk defensive tackles today. So what's up with you, big dog? I know you're tired. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing all right, hanging in there. We're getting a lot of this draft work in, so yeah, the next few months, the days will be long and the nights will be short, but we'll get it in, get it
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But like I said, draft is around the corner. Senior Bowl now the Senior Bowl had a couple practices already. I didn't get to see any because I've been at work. Have you been able to watch the Senior Bowl? What's been going on with you with that?
Yeah, I've watched some of the tape from the Senior Bowl practices. I never really got a whole lot out of watching like the NFL Network, ESPN coverage of it, just because they're going to show you what they want to show you.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of highlight your Javon Law this year. They'll probably highlight your bigger name guys, your Kyle Trask, the guys who, if they're not playing well, they're probably not going to talk about it because they're the moneymakers for the league. So I kind of always stayed away from. I can't tell you how many times I've been in Mobile at the Senior Bowl, and everybody who wasn't there was like, "Oh, like last year." Last year was actually a perfect example. So Neville Gallimore, the defensive lineman that the Cowboys drafted last year, he was a big name coming out of Oklahoma that the networks couldn't stop talking about. Like he was blowing up the Senior Bowl, when in reality he really didn't have that good of a week there. Like he had a few popping reps that they kept broadcasting, kept showing, but for the most part of the Senior Bowl week, he was on the ground a lot, like showed bad pad level, showed bad leverage. So like that always seems to happen. So when you're not there, you don't get the full picture. But they did start releasing some of the tape out to the public, so I do have access to that, and have been watching some of that as well. So that'll give you a better idea who's performing well and who's not.
So you think it's more of a little popularity thing more than anything else?
Well, I think the networks are going to make it that way, just because. I mean, again, like NFL Network doesn't get anything. If they're talking about the fifth round corner from Grambling State, like no one cares about that. It's the Alabama guys. It's the that's why you see Devontae Smith and all the advertisements for the Senior Bowl, even though he's not doing anything.
Right.
They're going to show Najee Harris and Devontae Smith and all those types of guys who are Mac Jones. Like that's who's going to dominate the broadcast and the networks because of the big name, big school. But a lot of the times it's the smaller school guys who do real well. And if you follow your Dane Bruglers and guys like that who know their stuff, do their work, you'll see who really is, performing at a high level and who's not. So I'd follow more along to those types of guys than actually trying to sit down and watch the NFL broadcast, because they're going to show what they know people want to see, and that's big name, big school.
Right. Yeah, that is true. But you know what? A lot of those small school guys do shine in this because they know this is their time to really be able to really go hard and blow it up and really open the door for them. And we've seen a lot of small school guys. We just had a couple guys last year. Your boy, that safety, I liked him a lot. What's his name? Went over to Carolina.
Oh, Jeremy Chin.
Jeremy Chin.
Yep.
Those guys come out here. Kyle Duggar.
Yep.
And then before that, your boy, the linebacker, from what's his name? Darius Leonard.
Oh yeah, from right. South Carolina State.
Yep. And everybody was, he came out of that who's who. So, a lot of those big name players were out there, but there's some small school guys who were out there trying to grind and get their name out there. They really go to work and they really raise their stock. So that's why I really like it, because you get to see those hidden gems. You really couldn't see it a lot this year because of that COVID, but this is their time to really shine.
Right.
But we got some guys in that Senior Bowl that, some defensive guys, especially the defensive tackle position that we're going to talk about, that are at this Senior Bowl. We're going to go through them because obviously defensive tackle is a need for the Dallas Cowboys. It's a need more than anything. And we need to go ahead and figure that out. So let's start from the top. Okay. Christian Barrymore. You know, everybody's talking about him now since he went crazy and he went nutty in that game. You know, in the championship game, everybody's like, okay, Cowboys draft him. Cowboys draft him. What's your kind of thoughts on him? And should the Cowboys, if he's there at 10, should they look at him? Or, you know, what's your kind of thoughts on him? Give me the breakdown on him.
So with Barrymore, he is I'm pulling up my my grades now from just the film that I've done. So I don't have finalized grades, but I do have pretty much rankings from film that I've watched. And I ended up, I don't think he made, as I'm pulling it up right now, I don't think he made the cut as a first rounder, but he was like a borderline guy for me. So again, like pretty much the way you have to go about the doing grades on guys who aren't probably going to have any testing and any of that, which is tough to do because you're pretty much grading guys solely based on their tape, which is, it's nice, but like for a guy like Barrymore, who's a big physical guy who really didn't pop until late, like you said, like it's kind of tough to grade him off his tape because the beginning of the year's tape wasn't very good.
Right.
It's not that it was bad. It just wasn't what it ended up being. And, you know, he's a redshirt sophomore, so he's only played 2 years for Alabama. So last year he was a redshirt freshman playing behind, you know, again, they have a good defense line this year that he could barely get on the field for, you know, early on. But last year they had even more dudes on that defensive line. So it's tough. But he ended up getting a 1-2 for me in this process. I have 3 1-2s right now. And 1-2s, 1 on offense and 3 on defense. And Barrymore ended up being one of those guys for me. He is my, 22nd overall ranked player in this class right now. And again, that's more of a stack than grades. But again, he's a big physical. I think he's more of a 3 technique than a nose, even though that's because he has the size to play the nose.
Right.
But his style of play is kind of up the field, gap shooting, using his body, using his length, using his athleticism to get in the backfield and rush the passer. He's stout against the run. You know, he's nothing like Aleem McNeil or nothing like Tyler Shelvin, guys who just eat up double teams, hold the ground, eat up blocks. He can some of that work from the inside, but I think he's more of your 3 technique spot that can play some of the nose as well because of the size and strength that he plays with.
So you're basically saying he's strictly a 3 technique, and you wouldn't even like look at him at the 1. Is he versatile enough to slide back and forth? Is he more of that 3 guy that's going to get upfield, create havoc that way, and probably you know, try to get sacks? Because I think he did have like 8 sacks this past season. Yeah,
he ended up you know, like to answer your first question, I think if you played him at the 1, you'd be limiting impact that he could have for your defense because you're going to get him in more situations where he's going to have to take on double, where he's going to have to take on multiple blocks, chip blocks, combo blocks, and all that. So you don't want to take him out of that spot where he's able to get one-on-ones against guard and centers. You know, and even, I mean, again, he did play, like, it was very rare, but he did play some defensive end at Alabama. And I think that kind of just goes to show you how athletic he was as a 6'5", you know, 315 to 310 pound guy. So, I mean, he could play the 1. I just think at that kind of that he could have his pass rusher, where if you line him up head up over a guard, he can have those 1 gap responsibilities and just work on getting up the field, using his length, using his power, using his explosiveness to beat, you know, one-on-one opportunities.
Would you pick him at 10?
No.
Would you pick him in the 2nd round?
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said, he's that
2nd round type guy.
Well,
he's at the top.
He's a 20. He is my first ranked 1-2. So he's at 22 overall right now. I mean, again, that's probably going to change when testing and all that does come out. But he's a guy that, you know, if you trade back to 17, 18, sure, take him at there. But I would be pretty disappointed if they took him at 10, even though. And it's tough to do this because, again, he only has 2 years of tape. The back half of this year was really, really good.
Really good.
If the full year was like that, then you're probably talking about, okay, let's take him at 10. But
Right.
you didn't see it so much in a redshirt freshman year, and then the front half of his redshirt sophomore year.
So you're kind of nervous.
Right. So it's kind of you're projecting with him, but you do like what it ended up turning into in 2020. So there's a lot of projection with him. But again, he's a redshirt sophomore. He's got ideal size. He's got ideal strength. Good length, good explosiveness. So he has all the traits. It's just the tape didn't really click for him until about halfway through, and then it got really, really good.
I got you. Well, he's probably going to be gone, so we can probably mark him off the list because he's not going to last to the second round. I don't think the Cowboys are going to draft him at 10.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance.
You think? I just
there's
don't feel
a
like
very small chance.
I just don't see it, Connor. I just don't feel like they would do it.
Well, I don't think they draft him at 10, but I think there's a very, very small chance that he could be there at 44, or be there at 37 where you could move up and get him, and it wouldn't be like you're giving up, future premium picks. You could trade 44 and a 44 and a 5 or 44 and a future 3 to move up, 6, 7, 8 spots and pick him. I just, again, like, it's a projection, and there's teams who are probably not going to have him graded all that high just solely based on the fact that up until, week 5 of this year, he really didn't have that great tape. So
we're going to see. What's up, Steve Lumpton? Get on in here. Share this. Donnell Simpson, John Jones, what's good with you? Keep on in here. I probably my notifications get up. They always be acting weird, YouTube, but whatever. We'll wait for people to get on here, but we already talked about Barrymore. Let's talk about another guy who's on the scene. And I did a tape on him. Not like I'm the tape guy, but hell, I did do the tape. Alim, is it Alim?
Alim
McNeil.
Yep.
Now that boy, I got to watch him. 6'2", 320, as they say, and he looks every bit of the part. He looks every bit of the Dalvin Tomlinson type that I'm looking at. Like, ooh, I like that. And then when I watched him against Carolina, man, he's big, he's stout, he's athletic. I seen that he's only played the position 3 years. He used to be a linebacker and a goal line running back. So you've seen the athletic ability, and man, you can see his strength and how you just really can't move him. Give me your thoughts on McNeil, and just about what he brings to the table, and how you feel about him coming with the Cowboys.
He is my second graded defensive tackle, right behind Barrymore, and he is my 33rd overall player in this class. And I think he reminds me a ton of Javon Hargrave. A guy that is in Philadelphia now, played for Pittsburgh, played the nose tackle in Pittsburgh for so long. But I think he's a guy that he didn't see. I could probably count on 2 hands the amount of one-on-one opportunities that he saw in 2020. He saw double teams, triple teams.
Right.
I mean, it was ridiculous.
It was.
He just never saw opportunities to really be effective against a one-on-one opportunity because everybody was so worried about him. And when he got those opportunities, he took advantage of them. And then obviously he showed the ability to hold up well against those double and even triple teams. So when you have a guy that's 6'2", he played at 335 pounds. He's probably going to run 4'9", 4'8". He's going to jump 34, 37 inches. Like, he's going to test like an absolute animal. Now, I think that's the only difference between a guy like Dalvin Tomlinson, who's a stout, strong run defender, and he pushes the pocket, but he's not that freak athlete, where Javon Hargrave has that twitchiness to his game. When we talked to him the other day, he said that he really models his game after Fletcher Cox, which is another good kind of nose tackle.
Hell yeah, would you say kinda?
Yeah. Well, just the kind of way they play is kind of similar.
Right.
And again, like, I think Alim McNeil's probably more of your one technique, zero tech if he plays in 3-4. But I mean, he could play some 3-4 if he needed him too, because he's not just a sit in one spot, hold the point of attack, eat up.
Right.
It's like he's a mover.
Right.
And again, it's not, he's not going to be out there doing spin moves or out there just, swimming and cross chopping by guys, but like he's going to move people. So he's going to move them backwards. He's going to move them laterally. He's going to get down the line of scrimmage. Like there's just the effort, the power, and then obviously the athleticism that a 6'2", 335-pound dude showed at NC State the last 2 years it's extremely impressive. I don't really know why people are, have him as a borderline top 100 guy. I can't figure that out, because when you watch the tape, there's just things that you don't really come out with many things that he doesn't do well. And again, probably the biggest thing is he's still new to the position, so he's still kind of learning how to use his hands, putting moves together. But when you're 6'2", 335 pounds, you move like you're 305 pounds. You play with your length, you play with leverage, you play with power, you play with speed, you play with athleticism. That's eventually going to come together where you can't teach all those things I just mentioned, but you can teach somebody how to use their hands, and you can teach somebody how to, put moves together, which is probably his two biggest weaknesses right now. And they're not even really weaknesses. They're just things he needs to develop.
Well, you sound like you want him.
Yeah.
He sounds like a guy. Now, there's another guy that's in the mix right now, Connor, that I really like, and he's undersized, but I feel you. I like McNeil. Just everything you said. He's Tomlinson, but athletic. But he's young, so he don't really know what he's doing right now. 3 years at the position. But daggone, last year, dog, you had 5.5 sacks. You feel me? Your freshman, you had 3.5 sacks. So you can get after the quarterback. That's what, like you said, he can push that pocket back, and that's what we need, Connor. We need a guy that can hold a point of attack, keep those linebackers free, you know what I'm saying, and let them make plays, because I seen him doing that in that North Carolina game. He was allowing his linebackers to come free and make plays, but he was disruptive that whole damn game. He was not seeing single teams, and when he did see a single team with that center, he was demolishing him. Throwing him around like a little rag doll. So I love that size. He's young. He can grow. That's why I say, Connor, we get a nice free agent. You draft a kid like a McNeil and let him just grow into the part in the position. You feel me? And now you got a great little rotation. So I'm really feeling you about McNeil. What do you think about McNeil getting drafted as of right now? What round are you?
I mean, for me, he's a second rounder all day. He's my top graded defensive lineman in the second round. If I'm taking him at 44 all day, I think that's easy selection for me. And
are you taking him over Barrymore?
No, Barrymore's slightly graded ahead, and it's just more of a value of the overall pass rush ability with Barrymore.
Because he's more versatile.
Yeah, he can rush the passer more than McNeil can with his ability, his moves, and being able to string moves together. And Barrymore's probably going. I don't know. I mean, McNeil could test better than Barrymore could, and if he does that, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if McNeil ends up being my top graded defensive lineman. Like, that wouldn't surprise me at all. We talked to him the other day, and he was like, he ran a 4.79 at 270 pounds coming out of high school, going to NC State. And he said that he projects to run that speed and possibly faster at 325 pounds, which is, if that happens, that's just going to be insane. So,
dog, if he does that, bruh.
Yeah. I mean, and the crazy thing is like, he went to NC State, to play baseball and football. So that just kind of tells you like the athlete that he is. He's not just a big lunk of, whatever. That dude's an athlete. Like, he played right field in high school. He's one of the best high school ball players for baseball. Went to NC State to play baseball and football. So he got a dual scholarship at NC State to do both. Didn't work out for baseball. He just said that with the spring football schedule and classes, like, he had to pick one, and he ended up picking football just because he kind of saw a bigger future there and a better future there. But I mean, again, it just tells you how good of an athlete he is, and how again, you don't see many 270-pound right fielders, in Major League Baseball, and that's how good of an athlete he was.
That's crazy that you said that. I didn't know that he had the baseball background.
Yeah.
You having a baseball background, that gives my radar even more like boop, boop, boop. My spider senses are tingling now that you said baseball, because now I know he's a real athlete.
Yeah.
Because you're cross training from from football to baseball. That's not easy to do. So man, that's really exciting. I watched the tape today and I'm really excited about him. Let's get him if that can happen.
Yeah.
There's another guy though, and shout out to my guy Steve Lumpton for the $5 holla. Appreciate you, dog. He said my microphone's on point. I know, because I sound really good. I can feel it in my bones. I feel my voice sounding really good, Steve. So I totally agree with you right there. I feel like I'm in the zone right now, dog. So I appreciate you, Stevie. But let's talk about this guy right here. I know my guy Jim Law is always talking about this dude, but I'm gonna wait for him. I'm gonna give you 3 more guys, Connor, and I'm gonna let you go. Okay. Levi, I don't want to tear that last name up. Levi Onwuzurike?
Onwuzurike is how.
Onwuzurike.
Yeah.
He's
fun too. He's my
I like him, Connor.
You hit him in order because he's my 3rd graded defensive lineman. Right behind McNeil. That goes Barrymore, McNeil, and Onwuzurike. And he is your prototype 3 technique, undersized, 200. He's listed at 290 pounds. I can't remember what he weighed in at the Senior Bowl, but I'd be surprised if it was 290 pounds. He's a little bit thinner build, but he's not. I shouldn't say thinner build. He's just a skinnier looking dude. But he plays strong. He plays with good link. He plays with good recognition. He rushes the passer well. He actually uses his length really well against the run. So even though he's a 290-pound guy, he's able to extend, lock out, and then get into both gaps. He can see he's not playing a 2-gapping scheme, but he's able to play both gaps because he's able to extend, lock out, and then pick which gap he wants to attack pretty much. And again, he's not a guy who is going to just absolutely blow up running plays in the backfield because he doesn't have that kind of power against interior offensive linemen, but he can control them at the point of attack and then make tackles at the line of scrimmage and limit the big plays from the running game. And then obviously the pass rush ability is there. He's able to rush the passer with ease, really fluid arms, really fluid lower half. He's got some bendability and flexibility in his lower half to really extend and get over the edge, and really push pockets, like I said, with his length. And I love when you watch him play, you'll see how smart he is a screen defender. When he sees a screen and the running back's getting set up for screens, he plays them so well too, which is awesome to see, because a lot of guys are just looking to get after the quarterback. They blow past everything, and then the ball's going over their head. And he's always very aware and very instinctive when it comes to playing that position and seeing things happen before they do.
I like Levi. I call him Levi O. I watched the game with him in Utah in 2019. I think he had like eight tackles, sack in that game. He was everywhere. Now I'm not saying he's this guy, Connor, but I'm saying the build, the look, the undersized. I looked at Jay Ratliff, and I went back to Jay Ratliff, and I seen his size, and I looked at his size. I'm like, damn. And when you look at Ratliff, he was undersized, but he was big and rocked up. He was like a big dude, though. You feel me? He didn't have that girth like the McNeil. So when you saw Ratliff, you're like, he can't play that because he's small, but you feel me? But Ratliff was strong, though.
Right.
And this is why that's what Levi reminds me of. Like, he's undersized in that middle because they had him playing zero, dog. Yeah. They had him playing the 0. They had him playing the 1. They had him playing inside in the jungle. And he was more than holding his own because he's strong. Now, in the NFL, a lot of people say he's more the 3-tech guy. If the Cowboys were to scoop him, where would you be feeling like he'd be a great asset for the Cowboys?
At what position or what round?
Both. Because I'm thinking right now, because he opted out, he'd been dominant. He's been dominating Senior Bowl practices. The talent. I'm saying, I could be wrong. I don't know. Could he go to a 3rd?
He could. I mean, again, like, the crazy thing is I like a lot of the dudes in this defensive tackle class. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of like the cornerback class, but just not even that good, where you have a bunch of dudes that you really like, but none of them are like these studs. So you don't have your Javon Kinlaws or your Derek Browns or your right. Like, they're all that. A lot of these dudes are kind of like what Neville Gallimore was for me last year. Like a guy who like you're like, man, like if he can put it all together, he could turn into a really, really good player. Like that's what a lot of these guys are to me. Christian Barrymore, I think if you're looking for the safest player in this class, it's probably Lee McNeil, because I think with his size, with his strength, with his power, with his athleticism,
totally agree.
I think he's safe. Like he's never going to be a big bust potential guy. Now he might not ever be, Fletcher Cox either, but if he could turn into Javon Hargrave, like that dude's a stud that just flies under the radar year in and year out. So, I mean, like I said, I don't, I can see a situation where some of these guys that we think are going to go, I mean, again, like nobody thought Neville Gallimore would go in the third round at the end of the third round last year.
Right.
He was a second round guy, even talked about going in the late first. So like that could be the same situation that happens in 2021 with the guy like Levi Owuzurike and, your Lee McNeils and Marvin Wilsons and some of those guys that are like, oh, they're definitely going to go top 50. They could end up.
I'm cool on Marvin Wilson though. I'm cool on him.
Oh, I don't love Marvin Wilson's tape either. I think his tape at the end of the year last year was not, or this year wasn't very good.
I feel like he's lazy, Connor.
Yeah, he had a knee injury that he didn't
I feel like
play.
he's lazy, Connor.
Yeah, but he's those Senior Bowl practices, he might be the best one out there.
But see, that's the thing, Connor. Now listen, here's the thing. I ain't say he ain't have no ability.
Yeah.
I said he lazy. Just from my feeling. Because some of those guys have so much talent, they're lazy, because I seen where he wore down in games, and I seen where there was an effort in some games. You feel me? Because I feel like he knows he's that good, and I don't have to go hard all the time. And I just see that in him. I could be wrong, but he has the talent. He is a wrecking ball. But is he mentally going to bring that every day? Is he going to take plays off? That's what I worry about on Marvin Wilson, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, the tape kind of showed that this year. He didn't play well for most of the year. The tape showed a guy who couldn't stay off the ground. He couldn't hold up on blocks. He couldn't rush the passer. It was just a lot of disappointment with him this year. But you turn on the tape from last year and you're like, holy shit, this guy's a top 10 guy. Just two totally different players. There was some injury stuff that came out this year with the knee. And again, like, while I do think that what you're saying does have merit, because when you turn on the tape, you see it. If he did have a knee injury this year and he still got his, stuff together and went to the Senior Bowl and is preparing for that, I do appreciate that, because there's a lot of guys who were those second or third. Trayvon Diggs last year, he didn't participate in the Senior Bowl.
Right.
Now, I don't know if it was I don't want to risk it in an injury or what, but like stuff like that kind of rubs me the wrong way when it's like you're not a top 5 guy. You should be going to the Senior Bowl. I mean, that's my take. Like, if you're not a lock top 5 guy, you need to go to the Senior Bowl. Like, I think Derek Brown should have went to the Senior Bowl last year. I think that would have helped. He ended up going 7 or 8 or something. I think if Derek Brown goes to the Senior Bowl and dominates like he probably could have,
he's top 5.
Probably goes top 5. Like Javon Kinlaw last year was we were talking about drafting him where the Cowboys were picking at 17, and he ended up going 10, or I can't remember exactly where he went, but he went high. He went high to the 49ers. So it's a way for you to make money, and I think it's a way for guys to prove that, hey, I can come here, I can show I'm tough, I can battle through energy and injury, and that's something that I kind of like that Marvin Wilson did do that, because he did have a knee injury this year, and like you said, like he could have been the perfect guy to be like, oh, I'm a top, people talked about me as a top 20 pick, for most of the year until my tape was bad. So I'm just going to rely on that. But he did show up and he is performing well. So that should help him because like I said, I think he was itching to get drafted in the top 100 going into this week. And if he can have a good week, I think he could probably solidify that. So.
Okay. I'm still worried. You feel me? I
feel that.
There's something about him, dog. I don't know what it is. I could be totally wrong. I just have a leery feeling like he could be the guy that, hey, I need to get this bread, so let me go hard in these practices. Now I done solidified myself and got my bread. Now I'm a chill. Yeah. That's what I feel about Marvin Wilson. I don't want that, dog. You feel me? Like, and there's guys. Let's not act like there ain't people in the NFL or in league that actually do that. So. Yeah. That's just my take on that. Shout out. Let me give a quick shout out. We're gonna talk about a couple more people, and I'm gonna let you go, big dog. 43 Flex. What's up, Boothang? Boothang in there. Yeah, I said 9:30, but Connor said he was sleepy. So I had to change it. Connor said, hey fam, I'm tired, dog. You better hit me up now before I be in this damn bed. I said, all right. I'm gonna send a link now. So that's how we do it over here. Y'all feel me? But I got another guy, my guy, Jim Laws. I don't know where the hell he's at. What's up, Vaughn from Shreveport? You know what I'm saying? What's up, Jay Tuck? What up with you? Hey, but he been screaming this dude. I haven't got to watch him. I'm gonna get an all 22 tape on him tonight. But he been screaming his name. Davion Nixon from Iowa. He's saying all this, that, and that, and that. I'm like, okay. Now, Iowa players, they're good.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me about this Iowa player, because I ain't got to watch him.
I didn't love. I didn't hate it, and I did not like it, but I didn't love his tape because people were kind of talking about him as the best defensive tackle in this class a few weeks ago. Like a month ago, it was he's the best.
He had a good year this year, though, didn't he?
Yeah, no. I mean, again, he's solid for sure, but I think he's going to kind of slide into like right behind Ozarike, McNeil. Like he'll probably crack my top 5 interior defensive lineman, but he's not a guy that I can, like I wouldn't take him at 44.
Hell no.
I don't think I would.
I wouldn't either. I don't trust it.
I mean, again, like he's a solid play. He's your 3 technique. He's not going to play nose. He's more of a disruptive 3 technique, but kind of it's not on the level that like Barrymore was, but it's just the tape was a little inconsistent. He's gonna, he's not a great run defender by any means, so he's gonna have to live in a single front, single gap scheme. But again, he can do a lot of things as an up the field penetrator. He can shoot gaps, and that's going to be what his game is. He doesn't play with a ton of great technique. He kind of just relies on that size and strength and explosiveness to win at the point of attack, win on his first step quickness, and then go from there. Like I said, don't hate him, don't love him, like him. That's kind of where I'm at. Solid. That's probably where the best word to describe him is just solid. Just needs to develop. We talked about it with Barrymore, McNeil. Like you got to develop you can't win in the NFL with just speed, quickness, and power. Like if you do, you have to have like absurd speed, quickness, and power. And he doesn't quite have that. So like I said, he's a solid day 2, third round dude, maybe back into the second round that you can, slide in as a 3 technique and play there. But don't, like I said, I think the DL1 hype that was popping off a little bit here recently was a little overblown.
Oh, that was super overblown. I ain't even watched that dude, but I know it's overblown. You ain't better than Barrymore, and I ain't taking you over McNeil. I'm sorry. I like McNeil just like because of the athletic ability. You feel me? And he goes hard. Like he don't be like taking plays off. When I watch McNeil, he for his size, he don't really take plays off. Like he is in there in them trenches. You know what I mean? And that's the guys I like Levi. Even though he's undersized, he's in them trenches. And that's what I like about them dudes. I mean, those top 3 guys that you talked about, Barrymore, McNeil, and Levi, those are some good selections. I'm gonna ask you about a surprise guys at the defensive tackle position that nobody may be talking about, that maybe you can get him in a later round and develop him. And then I'm gonna ask you before you go, who is your top guy that you want if you had to pick at the defensive tackle position? I'm gonna ask you one last question about Dak and these goofy ass Joneses. But go ahead, give me a sleeper defensive tackle that ain't nobody really talking about, and you were like, hey, watch out for this one though.
I'll give you 2. One guy I really liked last year, and that's Lorenzo Neal out of Purdue. I was watching Marcus Bailey a lot last year, and he kept flashing. He's going to be a nose tackle, but he's also kind of more of your disruptive one gap penetrating nose tackle, so he can push the pocket. Kind of, he's like your Aleem McNeil light, kind of. Not as big, not as athletic, but like
right.
He'll rush. He'll have 3 pressures in a game. And you're like, damn, like that big dude's moving. Like right. Eating up blocks. He does all that. So he's a guy that I like a lot. Is like, I mean, he's a day 3 guy. He's a 5th, 6th, that's kind of where he's going to go. Maybe even 7th. You know, he had an injury last year that he missed all the year, so he's got some injury concerns and all that. But I mean, when you watched his tape the year before last,
right?
I mean, you were like, dude, this guy could, you know, he's gonna be something at some point. Obviously, he didn't play last year, so I'm interested to see what his tape looked like a few years ago and then see how he's kind of progressed, because I thought a few years ago when I was watching his tape that I was like, okay, this guy could be something. And I love his size. I mean, he's 6'3", 320 pounds. He's your typical nose tackle, but like I said, he kind of does more than just get in the way. He's a people mover too, and he kind of moves well sideline to sideline, makes a lot of plays at the line of scrimmage. And then, like I said, he'll have your occasional tackle for loss or pressure that really kind of makes you go, wow, this guy's got a little something. And then I'll say my second one, and this one is super off the wall.
Okay. I'm going to go check him too.
His name is McKinley Williams. He plays for Syracuse. He is like 282 pounds. He's 6'2", 282 pounds. He played 2I. He played 0 tech. He played 3 tech. He played literally all up and down the line at Syracuse. Had never heard his name once, had never seen anything about him. And I was watching the Clemson game. I was watching Ifeatu Melifonwu the other day. You know, saw him just absolutely locking down these Clemson receivers, just playing his ass off. And then McKinley Williams, every other snap was just absolutely destroying somebody on that Clemson offensive line. Pass rush, run defense. And it's weird because, like I said, it was every other snap, because that other snap, he was on the ground getting this because he's 283 pounds.
Right.
So I mean, again, like when he's playing 2I, head up over the center, and the center wins off the snap, like he was on his back. But the other 60 to 65% of the snaps, that dude's way too quick for any of those interior offensive linemen. He was wreaking havoc on Trevor Lawrence. He was making plays all over the ball, rushing the passer, playing the run. I mean, it was impressive. I was like, dude, who's this guy? And I know nothing about him. He's a redshirt senior. He's supposed to be one of the best athletes on the Syracuse team. He's they said that he can do like 6 in a row handspring backflips. Like, he's a pretty freak athlete apparently. So, I mean, again, that name is super off the wall, but he was probably a lot on tape the other day. So a UDFA or something like that, like bring in a 285-pound freak defensive lineman and bulk him up a little bit and see what he could turn into.
Yeah, and Dallas is notorious for doing that. So there's an unknown guy, just like you said, Steve. He's going deep in the lab today. You feel me? He's going deep in that lab. You know what I'm saying? That's why I brought him on here. This is my guy. Okay, everybody got their guys, and I told y'all this last year. I said Connor gonna be on here this year about this draft shit. I guess y'all thought I was playing around and just talking shit. No, this is my draft guy right here. So you're gonna be on more shows than this. So we just going through. We already did corners and safeties. We did defensive tackles, and we're gonna hit something else. But I'm gonna ask you, out of all the players that you just mentioned, Connor, what would be your guy to say, this is my guy I would love for the Cowboys to draft as the defensive tackle position? Who would that be?
I mean, I got to go with Lee McNeil. I think he's.
I'm feeling you, dog. I'm feeling you. And I didn't mean to cut you off. I was on the Levi train. I still like Levi. You know what I'm saying? I like Levi. I think he's just aggressive. I think he plays hard all the time. But damn, when I seen that McNeil, and I kept on saying in the tape, look, kind of was saying in the tape, I like Levi though. I like Levi. But every time I kept watching McNeil, I'm like, but that's what we need though. That's what we need.
He's just a perfect fit.
He's what we need.
And that I might be biased because he's exactly what the Cowboys haven't had for so long. But I mean, yeah, I mean, for real, like they haven't had a legit one technique or nose tackle, like whatever they're going to play a 3-4, whatever they end up wanting to play. He's just a perfect guy for that defense because he's not going to get moved. He is going to, hold his gaps. He's going to defend the run. He's going to push the pocket. Like he just does everything that this defense has lacked for so long. And I just think that he is the perfect dude to play. I mean, and again, like what I like about it is if you draft a Lee McNeil say you bring back Antoine Woods, you have two, like those guys can rotate in and out. Like you don't have to spend the money on a Dalvin Tomlinson, even though I know I love Dalvin Tomlinson. The first show I did with you this year was me talking a lot about Dalvin Tomlinson.
I love him.
I mean, in a rotation of Antoine Woods and Aleem McNeil, 50-50, 60-40, however you want to do it, great, because that allows Neville Gallimore and Tristan Hill to play the 3 technique, and you don't have to have them playing nose technique, getting pushed around because they're 300-pound defensive linemen that are known for rushing the passer, trying to defend eat teams. That never turns into a good thing, which is what Neville Gallimore ended up doing for a lot of this year, was playing the 1 technique when that's not what he should be doing. He's a explosive athlete that was known for being up the field, and he was trying to take on double teams, and it wasn't working out very well.
Yeah, I totally agree on that, and I'm sorry, Levi. I made a video about you, but I will say about this, Levi. I made a video about you, and I talked really low, so people probably won't remember it. But I did make a video today about McNeil, and I talked very high on my microphone. So
I mean, a perfect scenario for me would be
JC Horn,
Caleb Farley, JC Horn.
I like JC Horn, but he's the athlete. But I'm scared about him because when they say them can't miss guys, you know what they say? Yeah. They miss.
I think Caleb Farley and Trayvon Diggs are just a perfect pair for each other, because Farley's
you don't like Horn. You just saying that because of that athletic ability.
Horn's my second graded corner. I like Horn a lot. He is. Well, I got you. I know you're trying to tell me I didn't like him, so I gotta. He is my. Let's see here. He is my 12th graded player.
But you can't say that you don't like Farley because he oozes with that nasty ass athletic ability,
ball skills, athleticism. He reminds me a little bit of what a bigger version of Jair Alexander coming out. Coverage skills, the athleticism, the ability to play the ball. That's what I kind of see in Caleb Farley. He's just 15 pounds heavier and 2 inches taller. So it's how do you – again, the injury history is there. There's flags there, but going back to it, the perfect scenario for me is Caleb Farley, JC Horn, first round, Aleem McNeil, second round, and then, if you want to add a Levi Ozarike in the third round, or if you want to then go Bobby Brown, a guy like that in the 4th or 5th round, I want to add a 3 technique too, and make – Tristan Hill, make Neville Gallimore force their way onto the field, because
put them on alert. Guess what? We ain't playing around. We came in here about defense. We came about, and if you ain't coming with it, your ass gonna be gone.
Yeah, I think Neville Gallimore was probably a top 5 defender for you down the final 4 or 5 games last year. And that's not saying a whole lot because the defense wasn't any good. But right. If I had to watch the last 5 games and go name me the 5 best players on this defense, Neville Gallimore might have cracked that list. But we're trying to improve. We're not trying to, stay there and have him being your 5th best player. That's not good. So, we want him to be your 7th or 8th best player. Or if he is your 5th best player, we're hoping he takes some massive jump to where he's getting 5-6 sacks a year. He turns into your Malik Collins, your second year Malik Collins, where it's oh, this dude's legit. So,
All right, so I'm gonna end this with this Dak conversation real quick, and it won't be long. But I want to ask you. I did a video with Nick Bolton. What round do you think about Nick Bolton?
He is my 15th ranked player and my top graded linebacker.
Damn.
I like him.
Really, though? Okay. I want to ask you this, though, Connor. You tell me, because you be on this draft sheet. You tell me. This is what I like about Bolton, okay? That stoutness, I like him to be a little taller, but he's stout and strong, and he lays the wood. Man, he's great in coverage. He can cover his ass off, for real. Good lateral. Sometimes looks like he overruns the play, but I like everything about him. But I question that speed. I question his top end speed because he didn't look fast. Maybe, I don't know. I could be wrong about that. But really, is he a top linebacker because this isn't a great linebacker class?
I just like his game. There's, you got your Micah Parsons and your JOKs and your Zaven Collins and your Chaz Surratt, Jabril Cox. You have those guys, so it's not like it's a bad linebacker class. I don't think you have your Devin White or your Roquan Smith, but like you have the guys who project well. I just like Nick Bolton's tape more than Micah Parsons for sure. JOK's tape's really good, but I don't know. He's 215 pounds. Like, I don't know if he's a safety. I don't know if he's a linebacker. Like, I feel like you're kind of going into that unknown, role for him where it's like, it's not even your Isaiah Simmons role from last year because he's 20 pounds lighter than Isaiah Simmons was. So I like JOK's tape a lot, but I think he's got to have to go to the right place. Like if he was in Dallas, I just don't think they would use him correctly. Well, I don't know. I can't say that. Like if he was in Dallas with Rod Marinelli and Chris Richard, like I wouldn't have faith in them using him correctly. I just don't know about Dan Quinn and this defensive staff. But yeah, I think Nick Bolton's got the best tape out of any linebacker in this class. I think he's explosive, like extremely explosive. Like he's going to run through you. I love how full he is as a downhill defender. I like his coverage skills. I like his sideline to sideline speed. I like him as a blitzer. Like there's like I've said it multiple times, but like I like players who can't find a lot of negatives on. Like if I'm writing your weakness column and there's like needs to develop this, then I'm like, that's not a weakness. That's just he's raw in that area. And if you don't have that, then you're the perfect prospect. So by no means is he the perfect prospect because he's 6 foot, he's probably 5'11", so he's undersized.
Right.
But he plays like
bigger.
I know they play different positions, but he plays like what's the safety in Arizona that
safety in Arizona
that came out of Washington. Budda Baker.
Yeah.
Like different positions, but like Budda Baker is 5'10" coming into the league. They're like, oh, he's way too small. He'll never be able to have success. And he's probably the second or third best safety in the league.
Exactly.
So,
well, hey, I like I said, I would love to see if I could get Bolton later, but I did the video on him and he is nasty. I just question his speed overall. I like to see that, but everything else, like you said, he is nasty with it. And he'll be on your ass. Sorry, the Ninja. My bad. I know we're talking defensive tackle and you want to get your linebacker shit in, but I just switched it right quick. I'm going right back because we ended it. So, it's been talked about with this thing. Everybody been, I've been listening on Twitter. It's a good time to sign Dak Prescott today. I'm not even really talking about that Matthew Stafford dumb shit right now in my head right now, or this Deshaun Watson goofiness. I just want to ask you point blank, yes or no, do you think the Joneses will sign Dak Prescott?
I mean, they have to.
Are they?
If they
you like me, you don't believe it, do you? You don't believe it, do you?
I'm going to say
yes. Saying yes. You know why you're saying yes, Connor? Because they've been in that damn media saying yes so hard. It's almost like they got to now.
No, I don't even believe that.
I don't believe them. I don't believe them.
When Todd Archer comes out and he's like, or I can't remember, David Moore, somebody put out a story today that was, if Dak Prescott isn't signed within the next 6 to 8 weeks, he won't be playing for the Cowboys ever again. And I think that's coming from the Joneses. Like they're like, let's force his hand. But here, I think they do because I think they're too. I almost said I don't know. What's the language restrictions on this shit?
Ain't no language restriction in this bitch.
All right, I think I have to say they will because they're too fucking stupid to figure it out if they don't.
Okay.
Like they're too stupid. They don't have the people involved in the front office to figure out the quarterback position if they don't. Because if they did not re-sign Dak Prescott, they're picking 10. So then you're asking the people who drafted Jalen Smith in the second round when more than half the league had him off their board to then either trade picks to move up and draft the best quarterback of the remaining 3 because they're not getting to 1. So they're going to have to pick between Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, or Trey Lance. So you're trusting them to take a crapshoot out of 3 of the next best quarterbacks, stand there at 10, take a quarterback, or they'll probably try to talk you into Andy Dalton or Cam Newton or one of those players, and say, oh, well, we saved $20 million. Now we can go get 2 defenders. And those 2 defenders turn into Don Terry Poe, HaHa Clinton Dix, and Everson Griffin. So I just don't think they're bright enough as front office members to navigate those waters without just absolutely shitting themselves.
Well, I feel you, the ninja. I got a weird feeling. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust him. I don't believe him. And especially the more Stephen Jones talks, I just feel like you got all these other quarterbacks out there and everybody's talking extension, and yet we're still sitting here talking about you about to tag this dude. Like, I just like
what Dak needs to do is come out, and he'll never do this because he's not this type of person. But what
I know
Dak,
he needs. Go ahead, say it.
He needs to come out and go, I'm not playing on the franchise tag. I did it last year. I suffered a brutal injury that could have ended my career, and I can't take that risk again, so it won't be happening. Because then the fan base can't get mad at him, and if they do, they're just shitty people because you're getting mad at the dude who's trying to look out for his future, so you can't do that. And then the Joneses are in a spot where they're like, well, shit, if we franchise tag him, we look like the dickheads because the dude just came out and was like, hey, I risked my health. I risked my livelihood playing on a franchise tag. I can't do that again. I did it. I could have ended my career. I came really close to ending my career. I have to look out for my family. I have to look out for me, and I can't do that again. And then the Joneses are then in a situation where they're the bad guys or
it puts the onus on them. It puts the onus right. It puts them on blast.
Yeah, I mean, if they really do just absolutely.
D-Law did it.
Yeah,
D-Law, he played on the franchise tag the first year. He said, I'm not doing it again this year.
Well, he didn't even say that. He said I wasn't getting surgery. I'll sign a franchise tag, and then I'm not going to get surgery.
He said, so he basically said, I ain't doing none of that shit. So he went hardball, and I don't know because I know that Todd France and Stephen Jones don't have the best relationship. I just don't feel good about this, dog. I just feel like it's going to drag, and I feel like them excuses going to come. I feel like the Joneses going to keep on throwing stuff out in the media to make themselves look good. And when all said and done, I would love for it to happen. I just don't believe it, dog. I just don't believe them as a whole because they just go back and forth with too much shit, especially in that media. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens, and we'll see what happens. More in this draft. I appreciate you jumping in here, big dog. Even though you was tired, I appreciate you giving your great knowledge about the defensive tackle position. I'm definitely going to check out those names that you were talking about, the slept-on names, and you'll be back on here. We'll talk offensive linemen, linebackers, the ninja. We'll talk linebackers then. I'm sorry. I apologize. We'll talk linebackers then. And Connor, be on here then. And, we'll do all that good stuff. But, once again, I know it's like routine, but I still want everybody to search you, find you, all that good stuff where Connor can. And you need to pop your YouTube channel. All these other motherfuckers is doing YouTube. You might as well do it too. But you need to go ahead and get that YouTube channel popping and hurry up and get that damn draft book. His draft book is fresh. I'm telling you. And he was only a $5 holler last year. So tell them about where they can find you at, Connor.
On Twitter at Connor NFL Draft, and I'm hoping the draft guide will be out February, mid-March is the date that we're shooting for, and it'll have full reports on over 100 prospects. I did 120 some last year. I'm hoping to maybe get close to 150. It'll have like a final mock draft. It'll have all the position rankings and big boards and all that. So for like again, I'm buy for $5. I think you get a lot of good information and stuff that you can always, it's not just a draft thing either. You can open that back up in the middle of the season and go, okay, let's take a look at how Neville Gallimore's doing. Like what he said, accurate is, doing all that. So I think it's a good little thing to get yourself prepared for the draft and take through into the season. But yeah, that's it. All my content will mostly come out on Twitter, and I don't have a YouTube page. I do have a podcast that we do. You can find that if you just search Blogging the Boys on whatever podcast platform you use. It'll pop up as Talking the Draft or Talking the Star. You can check that out. We do a lot of interviews on there. We've had Aleem McNeil. That one comes out this weekend. Ifeatu Melifonwu, Patrick Jones, Victor Dimukeji. We have a ton more too. So those will be coming out. So if you want to learn the Aleem McNeil baseball story, like that's where I get a lot of that information. So if you're looking for some little tidbits and stuff on some of these prospects. You always kind of learn something about these guys a lot in those interviews. So that's something cool for you to check out.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely didn't know that, and I'm gonna be getting on that as well, especially with that baseball story. But man, that's really dope that you get to talk to these guys ahead of time, and kind of pick their brain before they get drafted. So that's a really good thing. So man, please go out there and support Connor, man. I really appreciate him, dog. He's one of the realest. Every time I hit Connor up, he's always like, "Yeah, let's do this," and I really appreciate that about you and your great knowledge and the go hardness that you do with the draft and just in general. So man, please go out there and support my guy Connor, man. He's really great at what he does, and we're going to keep on talking more draft as it gets closer to the draft. But salutes to you, big dog. Get you some sleep out there, man. I appreciate you jumping in on the fly with me, man. And keep doing your thing over Blogging the Boys. Please go support Connor over in his Twitter, all that good stuff. And I'll talk to you soon, big dog. All right,
yes, sir. Do it again.
All right, for sure. Peace.
Appreciate
Take it
you.
easy. Yes, sir. Appreciate you as well. All right, so I'm about to get off here because I got to take a pee. I've been holding this pee for, excuse me, I didn't mean to be like that, but I've been, you shaking the legs and all that good stuff. I've been holding this pee for they're going at like 30 minutes. So I appreciate all y'all, man. Connor's a beast. You know what I'm saying? I'm hopping right now because it's popping, but man, Connor's a beast. Go out there, support, like this show. Thank you, the Ninja, for the hollers, the donations, my subs, my members. I got another video dropping. I just dropped the Aleem McNeil video, all 22. It was dope. I'm dropping Xavier Collins. I'm got some more guys. Oh, hella, all 22. He's coming back on. We doing a damn thing. I love you guys. Appreciate you. I don't want to pee on myself. Lord, forgive me for saying it like that, but I'll holla. Big Game James, Silver and Blue Nation. You know how we do. Check out them videos coming soon.